Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland in Canada spoke out on the tariffs, the U.S. tariffs against Canada and Mexico. And I just thought we wanted to bring this to you.
Liberal leadership candidates have just put out a joint statement just moments ago on Trump's tariffs.
We found it very interesting.
Who is elected the next party of the leader, they vow to stand up against these, quote, unjust tariffs. Well, former Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland was at the table the last time Trump tariffed Canada, and she also, of course, helped to renegotiate the new NAFTA, CUSMA. I spoke to her earlier this morning about the government's response this time around, and of course, her bid for the Liberal leadership. Chrystia Freeland, nice to see you again.
Good to be with you, Rosemary.
I want to start obviously with the tariffs that are going to come into effect on Tuesday. The federal government has responded, saying there'll be a total of $155 billion worth of counter tariffs. Do you think that this is the right response for this moment?
Absolutely. I think we as Canadians need to really recognize the gravity of what has just happened. This is an illegal
and this response to be very
action.
Fitting.
This is a betrayal of America's closest friend and best ally. This is economic warfare, and it is incredibly important.
For anybody who wondered when World War III, talking about World War III starting, or worried that, like Trump said, Kamala Harris was going to guarantee World War III. This is like World War III.
Americans are going to be really surprised by how strong and how resolute Canada is.
The president also, as you know, in that executive order said, if Canada puts in counter tariffs, I will consider escalating the tariffs. How do you weigh the risks knowing that that's the kind of threat that is coming down the pipeline?
The only thing this president recognizes is strength. We have to hit back, we have to hit hard, and we have to be smart about it. You know, our retaliation will and must activate Americans. We need to get Americans to understand they are hurting themselves with this action, and we need them to start getting loud. And it has already started, Rosie. The USW, the United Steelworkers, have come out and said, this is a really bad idea.
Seen the news on this the other day.
What we need to do is just be strong, clear, forceful, targeted, to get more and more Americans coming out and saying, why the heck are we doing this?
Right.
Like, actually, we like Canada and we're hurting ourselves. That needs to be our relentless focus.
So does that mean that you will not any longer put out positions, policy positions in this leadership campaign that are different from the federal government? Because there is an element of potential confusion, obviously, when people are doing that. Are you just going to get behind what everyone is doing at this stage and no longer talk about specifics that you would take on?
I think all of us, our whole country, needs to be strong, smart, and united. And that is absolutely what I am seeing happening across the country. I'm really proud of Canadians. We need to keep on going. We need to really surprise the Canadians by how determined and how resolute we are.
Donald Trump, as you know, has called you toxic based on previous negotiations that you had with him and his administration. Robert Lighthizer you got along with, but Donald Trump is not a fan of yours. If you were to become prime minister, would this not put you in a challenging position as you start off, try to rebuild the relationship with him?
Quite the contrary, Rosie. I think that what we have seen extremely clearly is that, smiles and jokes, they do not work with this president. There are two things that work with him. The first is to show absolute strength, absolute determination, absolute conviction. And the second is he cares about Americans. He cares about the people who voted for him, and he cares about the people who support him.
Right.
We need to have a retaliation that targets those people so that he sees that what he is doing, that this betrayal of Canada, this economic
that's what they need to do,
Canada,
for sure.
It's just a bad idea.
That's exactly what they are doing.
Your comment there, the smiles and jokes, is that a jab you're taking at the Prime Minister? Do you
Not
think
at
that
all.
Okay, so who are you talking about there then?
I'm saying that it's actually a response to your question, Rosie. that the way to deal with this president is purely through strength. Okay. That's what he understands, and it is about being smart and activating people in the United States, activating Americans, so that they will apply pressure on the president. That's how we have to do it.
You are asking Canadians to get behind you. First the Liberals, of course, and then eventually Canadians if you win that. In fact, most of your colleagues are not choosing you. What does that say to Canadians if the people that you spent almost a decade with, over a decade with, either around the cabinet table or in the caucus room, don't believe in you? Why should Canadians?
This leadership race is not going to be decided by Ottawa. It's not going to be decided by...
I didn't say it was going to be decided by Ottawa. I'm talking about your caucus members, your caucus colleagues from right across the country, and your cabinet members too. Do you not believe that those people have free will of choice?
Oh, of course they do. And I am so grateful to the very strong caucus and cabinet colleagues who are supporting me. But at the end of the day, this race is and should be about who grassroots Liberals choose to support.
Absolutely.
That is who I'm focused on.
That's how it should have been in America.
On reviving the grassroots of the Liberal Party, making the Liberal Party more democratic. And what I've been focused on, Rosie, from day one, what I have identified from day one is that the central challenge that Canada is facing today is Donald Trump. That is how I launched my leadership, because I could see this coming. And I have been very clear from day one.
Everyone could see it coming, too. Well, I will say, Chrystia Freeland, you told my colleague, Catherine Cullen, that you're running against the Ottawa establishment, the establishment that you have been a key part of for a decade. Why on earth would anyone believe the claim that you are against the establishment, that you are not part of the establishment?
Look, I think that people can see very clearly the dynamics of the race. But the reason that I'm asking people...
That's not what my question was. I said, why would people believe that you are not part of the establishment, given the proximity you had to the Prime Minister for a decade? Are you actually just saying that because that is the only possible way for you to win at this stage?
Rosie, not at all. And I think it's important for people to remember that I resigned. I'm the minister who had the courage to do that. I'm the minister who saw that we needed to be relentlessly focused on the threat that Donald Trump posed.
Would you not have had a better...
And Rosie, I'm not just saying that today. Yeah. I said that on December 16th, before these measures were in place.
Would you not, Chrystia Freeland, have had a better opportunity to help the country had you stayed at the cabinet table in whatever capacity the Prime Minister wanted?
No, she wouldn't have.
You would have been able to take on Donald Trump right now.
No. Canada is strong. Canada is going to astonish the world with our strength, and I am very proud every single day to be out there talking to Canadians, rallying Canadians, and speaking out for Canada.
You said that you would scrap the capital gains tax, a policy that you put forward in your 2024 budget. In fact, you said it is an idea that everyone who cares about fairness should support. Why do you no longer care about that?
Because Donald Trump is out to eat our lunch. One of the things he is trying to do is suck all of the world's money, all of the world's capital into the United States. And Rosie, I am not going to let him. We need to recognize the threat that Donald Trump poses to Canada. This needs to be our central organizing principle. I know we can win, but in order to win, we need to be united, strong, and smart. We need to be resolute and determined, and that is what I will be. And that's why I'm running to be leader of the Liberal Party, and that's why I'm running to be our next Prime Minister.
You also vowed to back away from the consumer carbon tax, a policy that you defended with the Prime Minister for many years. In May of 2022, you said the reality is that a price on pollution is the most effective way to fight climate change. What made you change your mind there?
Canadians. We need to listen to Canadians. That's what democracy is about. Of course, we need to fight climate change, but we need to do it in a way that Canadians want and accept.
Did you really not want what the Prime Minister offered you before you quit cabinet? Because I'm sure you know that there's a different view of how things unfolded on that end. That there was an offer on the table, and that instead of taking that offer, you chose your opportunity to go for the Prime Minister's job.
I was very clear, Rosie, and candid about what happened in my resignation letter. I was clear that this was about a difference of opinion, about differences between me.
Yeah, except it was a difference of opinion that only came out when he offered you a different job. That was the difference of opinion only became public and something you were willing to put on the line when he was going to move you into a different job.
It was a difference of opinion about our policy. It was a difference of opinion that is incredibly relevant to the challenge Canada faces today.
The whole thing was a difference of opinion.
To me,
so
from the
everybody's seen that.
Threatened 25%
Her leaving was because of a difference of opinion. The job change was because of a difference in opinion.
Relentlessly focused on fighting back.
Chrystia Freeland, thank you for your time. Come back anytime.
So there you have it. And yeah, I agree with her. Well, win or not win, that's not the question. But she made some very good points, and I just wanted to bring that to you. We're trying to get better at this, and we will. Hope you'll give us a like and a follow, share our content. Your likes and your follows and your shares, they definitely help us out. We definitely appreciate your support. We'll be back. Bye-bye.